Attention. This video is meant to help you think about the subject. Do not attack others or disrespect people in the comments or anywhere else the subject pertains. Fandoms are weird, aren't they? We build communities around something we enjoy, which is of course a good thing. Then there's always people who either gatekeep it to oblivion or hate on it continuously just because they can. There's nothing wrong with not liking a game, but there's no reason to push the boundaries of disliking it and pretty much telling others they aren't allowed to enjoy things just because you don't. Gatekeepers are very similar in ways, in the fact that they act like there's a right and wrong to what can and can't be enjoyed, or if you like one thing, you can't like the other. Sometimes it's to a point where there's a definitive answer to them, and you might as well die if you like something else in the franchise. I think a good fandom to see this in is the Fallout community and how they treat other fans of the franchise. A good example that's prominently shown by a lot of Fallout creators, or at least talked about, is the false idea that you can only like New Vegas because it's the only good Fallout game, or that you aren't allowed to like Fallout 3 because it's more limited, or even the fact that people rag on others for liking Fallout 4 or 76 because they are, and I quote, Fallout slop. These are pretty major claims from gatekeepers in the community, and while it's okay to put your views out on what you don't like, it's not okay to push your beliefs onto others. There are there are even those who will absolutely trash talk, yell, act like you don't exist over your opinion, or even make an argument that either barely makes sense or adds nothing, and just attacks you as a person whenever your views don't align with theirs, which is sadly common in communities, not just fandoms for video games, but for media in general. I will absolutely not name off anyone for the respect of others, but here are some examples I've found across the internet. Some don't have any reason behind them outside of just being overly mean without thinking about the viewpoints given by the person giving them. There are those who will make videos over your opinion and not even talk appropriately of you nor your opinion given. Some even just ignoring the points and speaking rudely of personal things. Being a fan of something doesn't mean you should be negative towards others with a different idea of fun. You shouldn't shut down someone's opinions. You should listen and convey your thoughts appropriately. I don't think I'll understand the absolute hate or aggression some have towards others. Even bringing politics into it when there's no reason to bring something like that up. Within the Fallout community, there are a few that will even threaten you for choosing the wrong game as your favorite. Sometimes they'll think of some vile things to say over a simple thing of enjoyment. Thankfully, it's not so common, especially with how vast opinions in public spaces can be. From what I've seen, having been in the Fallout community since Fallout New Vegas released, people act as if you're only allowed to like that one, which, as I've mentioned, and further, it's as follows, not 100% accurate, of course, but it's what I've seen as an outside voice. If you like Fallout 1, then you aren't allowed to like anything newer, and some will be mad that you like it over Fallout 2. And for Fallout 2, it tends to still be people being rude to the fact that you like one of the older games. With Fallout Tactics, people get upset with you over liking one of the two least enjoyed Fallout games, or what are considered such. Fallout Brotherhood of Steel is still kind of niche due to availability being so limited and resellers selling copies for so much more than they should be. Some will not just like the idea that you enjoy Brotherhood of Steel just because it's messy and rushed, on top of not really being Fallout. It's still enjoyable. For Fallout 3, people just don't agree due to it being so limited, even when it's trying to be faithful to the originals the best it can, while being in proper three dimensions. Coming to Fallout New Vegas, it gets treated so highly when it still has issues and some similar to the other Fallout games. Which it's good, but it shouldn't be what defines the entire franchise, especially when it's so diverse. Fallout Shelter gets ignored when brought up in conversation quite a lot, sadly, as it's a base building mobile game for most part with Fallout elements. And sadly, to Fallout 4 and 76, both get called Bethesda slop, as I've mentioned earlier in the video, even though they add quite a bit and are fairly expansive. Every game has its issues, and every game has what it does well. People can enjoy something as much as they want. There is no definitive answer to what can be enjoyed, even if some try to act in such a way. Now, of course, it's not always the case that people will go crazy over which one you enjoy, and you are somewhat unlikely to encounter these kinds of people unless you are a very strong fan and or occasionally see it online or choose to go down the rabbit hole on purpose. Now, I know I'm certainly not the only person I've seen this kind of activity in fandoms that I like. In fact, there's a very similar problem in the Souls community or even the Devil May Cry community. And sadly, there are people that have even left a fandom or at least removed themselves entirely from the online parts or community parts due to the negative pour over of these kinds of people. Some of the people that have removed themselves from communities due to this behavior, I know myself. Someone I know and watch often and holds himself in this part of the community, not just for Fallout, but for the Elder Scrolls and occasionally other games as well, is Some Ordinary Joe. Bringing this up, this is what he's got to say about fandom toxicity and gatekeeping, like the examples I've given about Fallout.
Fandoms are weird, aren't they, Mr. Bread? On one hand, I can, to a certain extent, understand where the gatekeepers are coming from, especially in niche communities. A large portion of these niche communities are inhabited by people that more than likely grew up with the source material, so they naturally feel a sense of pride or belonging when it comes to these fandoms. I'll use Fallout for example because that's what I have the most experience with, at least in regards to this topic specifically. If you take a look at the classic community, the people that glaze Fallout 1 and 2, it's mostly made up of the people who played those original DOS titles in their mid to late 20s before the PS2 even released. So to them, Fallout 1 and 2 is the definitive version of Fallout, or at least to the ones that are active online. So when Bethesda acquired the rights to Fallout and turned the attention away from a narrative-rich, gritty RPG into more of an action-focused FPS that favors spectacle rather than those deep narratives offered in the Interplay games, it challenges a piece of their identity. The problem obviously comes around when the more terminally online section of the Fallout fans start coming out of the woodworks just to spew hate because they believe their subjective opinion is the objective truth. And if you even dare to challenge their worldview, you automatically just get labeled as a low IQ consumer who can't appreciate the finer arts, or something like that. A lot of them, specifically in the Fallout community, will use the term tourist to describe people that they don't agree with, and it's literally just a term to segregate new fans to the franchise from the older ones, like it's Jim Crow America. Except in this case, it's separate and not equal because you are stupid if you like Fallout 3. But real gamers know that Fallout 3 is the best Fallout because it's green. I think what a lot of these gatekeepers, in any fandom really, fail to realize is that everyone has their own likes and dislikes. And just because you think Fallout 1 is the bee's knees because the story vibes are epic, doesn't necessarily mean that the Fallout 4 fan wants to play an interactive novel. Thanks for listening to my little yap, and thank you to Mr. Bruh for enabling it. I'm going to pass it back on to you now.
Though, like I have said earlier in the video, that isn't always the case. There are those who will be happy to mention what they do and don't enjoy about your favorite thing, but gladly acknowledge your thoughts and reasons to why you enjoy it yourself and still be happy to talk to you about it. The amount of people I see with this mindset is unfortunately lower than the amount of people who think they are above you, especially over the internet. But the matter of being there to counter the unfiltered aggression or disregard of others is still good, and hopefully it grows to being more people like that out there. I personally am the former. I'll respect what you enjoy even if I don't myself. I'll talk about it and give any tips, lore bites, or info on the subject. In fact, I'm a fan of Fallout 1 and Fallout 3 specifically. I have less interest in Fallout 2, and while I see what New Vegas has to offer and enjoy it quite a bit when going to replay it for the millionth time, I don't enjoy it as much as I do Fallout 3. Same with Fallout 4. It has so much, but I just like the ones I like. Though I still have put near 1,000+ hours into them, so I know a fair bit of each game going in. I'll listen to your reasons and give mine. And that's something we need more of. People who can keep from being negative towards someone for liking something else and have a normal conversation with them. You might learn things you don't know about that specific game or subject, and they might learn something from you. People should respect others as a community and talk about the differences of what they enjoy and don't enjoy, not be aggressive or call each other childish names over what somebody says or enjoys. Another big issue I notice is the fact that some of the beliefs are made from the thoughts and ideas of others before going into the games and trying it out themselves. This bandwagoning causes a lot of people to go around spreading false ideas, aggression, or misinformation, even though they have not interacted with it themselves. Another addition to this is those who rag on a subject without looking into the details or may only play it a moment without giving it any proper chance and just treat it like the worst thing they've ever played. Which within the Fallout community, there are a lot of people who do this with early Fallout games, i.e., Fallout 1, 2, Tactics, and Brotherhood of Steel. Sadly, there isn't much else I can add to this as people can freely choose to follow or believe what they choose to, and that's okay. Some just need to put a little bit more effort before they make that decision. Communities are supposed to come together and have fun when it comes to enjoying different aspects in said community, whether it is a difference of opinion or difference in ideas. We are all people and we all enjoy our own things. It says a lot when a community can't pull together and just enjoy themselves and be happy for others. That's all I've got for this one. Have a wonderful day and all love.